I got the Wook flu from my sister, so I'm running a fever and not really feeling that great. But I wanted to do this video. Something funny. Um, when you zoom out of this situation, it is pretty hilarious. To understand why I think this situation is hilarious, and I know it's serious. There's some 300. That's what makes it funny. Is there's some 300,000 people being human trafficked. There are people being murdered right now as we speak by this church. Just a bunch of violent, stupid people. And there's two autistic, or there's I don't know, me. There's an autistic guy versus an army of autistic people. Now, this was a study that came out where they revealed that they believe narcissists were autistic. They didn't believe that it was a mental disorder. They didn't believe in narcissistic personality disorder. They believed they were literally autistic. And I agree with that statement. They have all of the same symptoms. When things don't go their way, they throw tantrums, just like an autistic kid. My head's like really bad. So the thing that makes this situation funny was when I was in the special ed room, there were these two autistic kids that got into a fight over the red crown. Now, there were other red crowns, but both of them decided they wanted to use this one red crown. And autistic kids have an unnatural, resolute stubbornness to them, where they will not change or bend no matter what the conflict is. So once these two decided they wanted to use the red crown, and then both of them started butting heads, it did not end. These two kids started fighting, came in the next day. As soon as they saw the other kid, they ran right for the other one to get into a fight with him over the red crown. And the shit got so out of hand that our teacher outside was stressed out, and she got so upset. She got so upset, and I remember her like about to cry, and then she was like, it's that fucking autistic stubbornness. And I realized to some extent that is kind of a thing I have in this situation, but it's also a thing Blondie has in spades, and Stu and all these fuckers. They all have the autistic stubbornness or resoluteness in spades. But yeah, so you have two autistic people fighting over a fat girl from California. And basically the fate of the world hangs in the balance. And I've just been down here going on about how they're going to try to force me to marry this or that, or they're going to murder me. And I've just been so casual about it because I'm autistic. I don't actually feel the weight of the situation. I don't actually comprehend it. Yeah. So that whole thing is where we're at now. Yep. I remember some guy years ago told me, he was like, in 8 years you're gonna go to prison for 20 years and then they're gonna put you up on the crucifix and I'm gonna fucking laugh. And you're a fucking piece of shit. And he went on a thing about how I was an asshole and all these things. And I did bad things out there in the desert. Once again, I never would have did them if I had not been forced to do drugs or any of the horrible things these people made me do. But I did do horrible things out there. I am, I guess, responsible for those to some extent. But the other end of this is you do gotta laugh, because how the fuck did this situation come about with me, my autistic stubbornness? And I would argue my altruism is a part of my autistic stubbornness. And this is another thing that's funny, is I remember Blondie was like, I'm gonna make a narcissist. He's talking about me. Be responsible. Yeah. And he went on a thing about how using his bullshit, and I guess that's the situation we're in. I'm the narcissist, and he's gonna make me do something I don't want to do, and that's be responsible. To which I say to Blondie, you're wrong. I'm not a narcissist. You guys hypnotize me into being a narcissist, and this is how I know definitively I'm not. One, Pagton, I have a super ego. My super ego is separate from me, but still there. That is why I keep doing these videos and I keep talking about what happened, because I feel guilt and remorse over what happened. It's just in a separate box in my mind. If Stu ate my brains and then got to meet Pagton, the only thing he would be trapped in is a nightmare. Because he's done so much horrible shit, she would hold him to account and responsible for them. And he would be screaming the entire time, make it stop, because she is relentless and unbeatable. My super ego does not let go of things when I do wrong. Which is why I often don't like to even admit when I do wrong, because my super ego is that horrible to me. Yeah. Now, this kind of goofy shit, when the wife, this is the other side of how I know. When the wives took me out there and they were hypnotizing me, there's these things, there's your values, and then there are core values. And then there are core memory, value, emotion things. And the wives, when they were hypnotizing me to have the superior psychology, emotionally stunted, they had to actually work to get me into an emotionally stunted state. Because I was a stoic before, because I was something I was not the thing they wanted me to be. I was not an emotionally stunted, stupid child. Okay. So they had to work extra hard, and they had a book. I remember them flipping through a book to make sure that I had all the psychological traits of the superior psychology, the psychology these people think is the bee's knees, the best. And it's just an emotionally stunted narcissist that lies about everything. Okay. They had to work extra hard to change my core values, and they kept having to circumnavigate it, but one of the things they could not change was my altruism. My need to help others and do the right thing. Which explains why I got so many people killed. When I was president, because I kept giving out money thinking I was doing good, and then they'd go out and murder them, because if you give out money from the church, they kill whoever gets that money, because that's what good people do, apparently. You just kill people over money. Yeah. So, these people, yeah. They fucked with my mind for who knows how long. Before finally, I guess they conceded that I'd be altruistic, but I'd have 95% of the traits they wanted. And I remember Jasmine and the other wives getting so frustrated because they just thought my beliefs and everything I thought was stupid. They literally just believed the fact that I wanted to help people, I wanted to make the world a better place, I wasn't self-interested, and they hated it. And I still remember multiple times when I was president making a decision and then somebody literally accusing me of being weak. Like, you're being weak because you're being nice to me, you're so stupid. And I was just, yeah, just remember, this kindness just stopped the church from murdering you. I remember I let some guy out of prison, and I was like, just remember, my kindness stopped us from fucking torturing you. And that's just who I was when I was out there. I was so fixated on helping people. Or even Jasmine was like, we have to get rid of the kindness. It's weakness. He's soft. It's blah, blah, blah. And it's that stuff. They hate sympathy and empathy. It makes them sick. They absolutely hate it. And they desperately want love. They want unconditional love. But they don't know how to get it without sympathy and empathy, because you can't get unconditional love without sympathy and empathy. You have to have those to connect with people. And they worked so hard to deal with my altruism but couldn't. And I even told them at one point, if you get rid of that, that's the reason I freed you people, because I'm an altruist and I just do the right thing. And I said that to them. Yeah, I said that to them. And that's also funny because here they were, they got me, the guy that saved them, and the only thing they could do with who they are is hurt me as much as they could, rip apart my psychology, and turn me into the monster they just got rid of, and they were too stupid to recognize that's what went wrong in the first place. It's not me that was the problem. It's their love of this defective, disgusting psychology. It is a defective, disgusting psychology. Okay? And they love it. They think it's the greatest psychology in the world, and that is why everything went. That's a big chunk of why everything went bad. But yeah, they had to turn me into a narcissist. And I think part of my recovery down here with the individualization and me just deciding to surrender to the universe again, which is extremely hard to do, is I'm not a narcissist. I was hypnotized into being one. And as a result, everything went bad. I started harassing George Miller. I started getting pissed and blaming other people. Before I left Ackworth, I had an entire thing about not being the victim. I was told that in psychology. I held on to that. But these people hypnotized me into being a victim. They hypnotized me into being a garbage person. And they just kept doing it to see how far, I guess, it's control. They feel in control. They can change you, so therefore I'm in control. But then they couldn't fucking handle me. But they kept doing it because they're stupid. But whatever. And like I said, maybe the term for them isn't stupid. Maybe it's autistic. The truth is they're autistic. And just like any autistic person, they should never be in control of anything. And I'm going to repeat that. They should never be in control of anything. And I want to talk about this. The thing I said to the wives when I was out there in the desert. We're talking about the oracles of Athens, I think it is. Who were all female. They actually weren't allowed to lead anything. Their job was to just see things, but they were not allowed to be the leaders. Because they were high on drugs all the time. This church is funny as shit because the guy that does all the drugs, the guy that doesn't need to be in control but has control issues, is in control. They are not the people who need to be in control. I would argue the blue-eyed guys should probably be in control and then tell the malignant narcissist what right and wrong is instead of just letting them run wild like the lunatics they are. And then them going, oh, I'm the victim and everything when they're not. And, dude, even the shit with Blondie and me programming him to like Mary, it's the stupid shit with my dad. When he asks about something that pisses him off, and then you can't say anything because you know if you say it, it's going to piss him off. Blondie's the same way. He asked about a woman, and then I described her, and then he wanted it. Because he's like, I'm good enough for that. If she's that good, that's me. I'm entitled to it. And you're just, okay, dude, whatever, man. Like, fucking, the fact of the matter is he probably didn't give two shits about her right up until then. Like, but it's whatever, man. I can quarterback this shit forever, but yeah. Like I said, that's the hilariousness of the situation is I'm an autistic guy that got into a fight with a bunch of autistic people for the fate of the world. Oh, man. Yeah. Yeah.